Hi, welcome to my fourth podcast. Um, so I had previously done one on family dynamics, and unfortunately, when I finished it, I erased it, so I'll do that one another time. Tonight, I'd like to talk about anger and how we all experience it, and it's normal and natural, but how do we express our anger and what makes you angry? If you never get angry, raise your hand. Wait a minute. I can't see you. It doesn't matter. But I think we all get angry to some degree, right? Some get a lot angry. Some people get way angrier than others. And so, what makes you angry? Let's think about what makes you angry. Is it your children? Is it your partner? Is it traffic? When you break something, when you lose something, and how do you handle your anger? There's good ways and bad ways to handle your anger. For example, I don't know. Sometimes, what is really making you angry? And sometimes, we have these issues, personal issues, and then something makes us annoyed, and then we just blow up like, way beyond the situation, which is not a good thing. So, what do you do when you get angry? Do you swear? Do you curse? Do you, I guess that's the same thing. Do you throw things? Do you hit people? Do you, do you beat up people? Do you use a strap? Do you use a weapon of some sort? Like a strap or a stick or something. And it's, we have to learn to control these impulses because you can really damage somebody. You get angry and then things get out of hand. One person screams and the other person screams. You get louder and louder. And, and then it could resort to, some kind of physical violence. So let's try and learn to, beware of these triggers. Just beware of them. I know when I was a kid growing up, my dad would get mad at us. I had 4 siblings. He would express his anger by taking off a strap and hitting us. And that was not fun, and that hurt a lot. And you ask yourself, like, how can you love your children, claim to love your children who are small and helpless, and yet you want to hit them with a strap? And what did they do that was so bad? What was the thing? Is it because they were arguing? Did they break something? Like, what triggered this angry outburst? And then my mom, she used to get mad at us when we were kids growing up. She would throw things. She'd break things. One time she threw a cup down into the bathroom, and it made a great big chip on the edge of the bathroom, which was there like permanently. So you have to be careful, how you control your anger. And I don't know, I used to work in a bar when I was really young, when I was like 19 or 20, and sometimes you'd see fights break out, and usually those people were really drunk. Does drinking affect your anger? Does it make you more angry? Like if you're sober and you get angry, you react a certain way. And then if you're drinking and you get angry, do you react more violently? And I've just learned that, getting angry at strangers, people that you'll never see again. Waiting in line at a bank or in the supermarket to get angry because the line is too slow. Getting angry in traffic, that could be very dangerous. You hear about road rage, and some places you hear about people getting shot or force another vehicle off the road, and it can be very, very there can be really bad, horrible consequences. So I think what we need to do is take a look back, look at what triggers you, what really makes you angry. If it's your partner, treat other people the way you want to be treated. If you're going to hit somebody, is that the way that you would like? If I'm mad at you, am I going to, get a stick and beat you? Like, just try and remember to treat other people. It's not right to hit people. I don't think that ever solves anything. And you don't want your, and I mean, when I was really young, I had a friend who had 2 teenage sons, and they broke her stereo. And I said, well, I bet you're really, really angry. Like, you must have punished them, like, really tough, right? Like, what did you do? Hit them? Or, how did you punish them, right? And they said, well, they didn't really get angry. It was already broken. Like, he made the kids pay for it, right? So, I mean, he could have yelled and screamed. It wouldn't have fixed the stereo. I mean, once it's broke, right? So what is the point in yelling? What is really the point in hitting somebody and yelling at them? Does it ever solve anything? Does it make you feel good to get angry? When I've been angry in the past, I mean, I try not to lose my temper now because I just think it's a waste of breath and doesn't really solve anything. So I don't know. Why do we get angry at people? Like, what pushes our buttons? I get out angry all the time, and I just find that, sometimes the very best thing to say is nothing. Say nothing. Move on. Is it really life? Like, you have to look at priorities, right? What makes you angry? I don't know, if somebody takes your remote from you or changes the channel, you're going to blow up? Like, what really triggers your anger? And I think that how we have to, well, back to the thing when I worked in a bar, right? And I'd see these guys fighting. Usually they're really drunk. But also, too, I'd say that, these are the people that can't use their words. They can't communicate. They're frustrated, so they end up using their fists instead. And then, ultimately somebody's going to get really hurt. We don't want that. You wouldn't want somebody to beat you up. So stop the anger, road rage. Somebody wants to, yeah, I get angry when I'm driving, but I'll just kind of move over and let them pass. Like, get away from me, you're crazy, right? If they're going too fast, they don't see whatever, they're not really hurting me. Yeah, it's annoying, but is it really worth, am I gonna like smash their car or get out and smash their car with a bat? Like, what is that? Just, we have to learn how to keep our cool. Lots of things make me angry, lots of things. I'm angry all the time, but I don't find that expressing it, that yelling and screaming and cursing and swearing, hitting somebody else is gonna solve these things. Take a step back, take a long walk, go and take a shower, just get out of the path, get away from what is bothering you. And I mean, yeah, kids can be very, very annoying, but I'm sure they don't want to be hit. Like, I don't think anybody really wants to be hit. That's crazy. So hitting your kids, and then it just teaches them that hitting's okay. And next thing, you've got a bully at school who's beating other kids because they've learned that. Where they learn it from? They've learned it from you. So my mom says, like, save your breath to cool your soup, and I think that's a good thing to remember. And what else can I say about anger? Just, if it's really bad, you need help, you need anger management. Hopefully, people that are watching this don't really get into that state where they really hurt somebody. And but I mean, when I get angry, when I've been angry in the past, it would just give me, like, first of all, I never get headaches, but if I get all fired up, way in the past, right? If I get fired up about something, I start getting angry, start getting, breathing hard and wanting to lash out at somebody, I just end up getting a headache. It's not good for you. It's not good for your blood pressure. It's not good for other people in your family. And then, of course, if you're fighting with a stranger, there's always the danger of assault charges, or they might have a weapon and hurt you. Keep your cool. Just move away from the issue. Just walk away. Get away. Just try and stay calm, because hostility never never solves a problem. You can yell and scream till you're blue in the face. If somebody's doing something you don't like and you can't discuss it with them in a civilized manner, chances are they'll probably do it again. And I don't even know how I made my parents angry when I was a kid. I didn't want to get the strap, and I found myself getting the strap. I guess my dad was just an angry man, and he never hit my mother, ever. But I guess he took out his frustrations on us kids for trivial things. And that's wrong. So when my dad became old and senile, he's passed away now, but he became old and senile, and he was in a nursing home. And I remember, I went there to visit him once, and I thought, you're the man that hit me with the strap. You're the man who really beat me, and left marks on my, on my arms and legs. I thought, now's my chance. There you are, helpless. Do I want to, inflict some physical pain on him, really pinch him or twist his arm or, something physical? And I thought this could be payback, right? I'll inflict pain on him because he inflicted pain on me. And then I realized this is a helpless man. He can't defend himself. He can't protect himself. And I thought that's not wrong. He doesn't even know who I am at this point. So I thought there's no point. There's no point. It's over. I healed. My marks went away. Although I do remember one time when I was probably 11 or 12, my dad, who worked straight days, he was home for some reason. I don't know what it was. Maybe he's on strike. I can't remember. But so we were home for lunch. My mom wasn't there for some reason. I don't know what she was doing. But so my dad took his strap off and hit me. And he would say, hold out your hand, hold out your hand. If you didn't hold out your hand, he'd hit you across the hip. Right? So I held up my arms, and he hit me 6 or 7 times, and I had these big pink welts up the inside of my arm. So it was a beautiful spring day out. The weather was warm, and I was wearing a short sleeve dress. So going back to school, remember I was only 12. So going back to school, I thought I'll put on a cardigan. I'm going to hide these marks, and I'll put on a cardigan, right? Even though the weather was way too warm for a cardigan. And then I thought to myself, in my little simple 12-year-old brain, I thought, wait a minute, I didn't really do anything seriously wrong. My dad should not have given me the strap. Nobody should beat their kids. And so I just went to school, and I thought, so what? If anybody asks me, I'll just tell them, that my dad gave me the strap. So I went to school that day, and I don't really remember any conversations or comments about the strap marks. But right after that, I started going to, the school sent me to a counselor. So once we could walk over to the health, anyway, it was several blocks away, and I'd walk over and meet this woman for counseling. And she was really, really nice. She was a single lady, probably in her mid-20s or something. And we had these really good talks, and I felt like I was being heard, I was being listened to. We discussed my family problems and things like that, and school problems, whatever. And I really enjoyed getting there, and I really felt validated and heard. Well, unfortunately, one day she went and brought out her tape recorder, and she said she had to tape her conversation for her boss. So she started testing the tape recorder. So she would test it and play it back, and I had to say something that you play it back. Listen to your own voice on a tape recorder sounds totally different than the voice you hear coming out of your mouth. And remember, I was only 12, so I was so self-conscious, felt so embarrassed about hearing my voice on this machine. I wouldn't do it, and I stopped going. In retrospect, I should have, I wish I'd kept going, because, it was nice to talk to an adult about family things. So that's how it went. So see, but then again, back, that would have been in the 60s, I guess, late 60s, and back then there wasn't any consequences. Nobody reported, parents for hitting their kids. I think even principals you get the strap at school if you did something bad, which never happened to me at school. So anyway, my dad never got in trouble or anything, And then, of course, I left home as soon as I turned 18. I left home. I had a job. I saved my money. Couldn't wait to get out of there. Could not wait to get out of there, you know. And then I had a small apartment. Of course, to me, it was like Buckingham Palace. I mean, all this space for one person. Of course, times are different then. It was affordable. I didn't have a great job. I mean, you know, I usually made minimum wage, working in retail or an office or something. But I was determined to make my way, and I would not go back home. Although I think I did a lot of good things for my parents too. I mean, when their 25th wedding anniversary, I bought them a Chesterfield set from Wonder Furniture, a furniture store that's now not there. I bought them a beautiful hassock footstool for their living room one year. I bought them a set of cutlery, nice stainless steel cutlery. I bought them a bedspread. I mean, I wasn't making a lot of money, but I always, you know, tried to give them nice gifts. One year for Mom's birthday, I took her to a fancy restaurant, which I paid for our dinner. And, yeah, so I think I was a great kid. I mean, I really do, looking back. You know, I mean, I never got in trouble at school. I was home every night. I never got in fights with anybody else. But, so again, back to the main topic is anger. This is how anger has impacted my life. This is how anger has hurt me. Being abused by my parents growing up is very, very painful. And I swore, like, and I have 2 daughters, and I never hit them. Were they perfect? No. Did they get me angry sometimes? Yeah. But I found different ways of, you know, I might ground them or take something away from them, you know, or lecture them. Make them stay in the room. Anyway, you know, I think they turned out really, really good. They're both successful. They both have great careers. And I didn't have to hit them at all. Never. My husband's never hit me. I've never hit him. I don't believe in hitting people. Well, the thing is, too, you know, I think if I start hitting somebody and they start hitting me back, I could get really hurt. It's a part of it is just, you know, it's good. Being respectful to other people. You don't want to hurt them. But a part of it is, yeah, I don't want to punch somebody and then get a whack back in the face. So I'm going to stay away from the physical violence. So, yeah, just think about what makes you angry and think about what triggers you and think about how much you can hurt people, you know, with your anger. And maybe you could just try, like, you know, make a deal with yourself, like, see how long you can go without getting really angry. Well, okay, so you're going to get angry. It's how you deal with your anger, with these emotions, right? So just see how long you can go without, you know, losing your cool and freaking out on somebody, you know, because it's not going to make anything better, really. So that's, I guess, I mean, I worked in retail, and there was a woman came in one time. I remember so vividly because she was so angry. I don't know if she's high or drunk or just an angry person, right? And she made such a big scene. I mean, the management, I mean, you can't get anything by being angry. You know, the management is going to say to you, you know, or you want to return, I don't know, whatever the issue was, you know. I just heard a lot of yelling. I couldn't really make sense of what she was saying. And, you know, the manager's not going to say to you, okay, well, you're really, really angry. I'll give you a refund or whatever it is you want, right? Or I'll give you this, mark down the item, whatever you want, right? No, because once you start screaming and yelling and cursing at somebody, they just want to get rid of you. They just want to, you know, separate from you, right? Get you out of the store. Don't come back. So remember these things, that anger is never going to, I mean, you can beat your kids till they're black and blue. I mean, and if you have severe anger issues, your kids are going to make you mad again. But just remember that you're the person who chose to have these children. They didn't ask to be born. So try and treat them kindly. You know, they're only little ones. And then you reap what you sow. So if you want to hurt your kids, trust me, when they're older, they won't be around you. They'll avoid you like the plague. So, you know, when you reap what you sow. I have a sister who's divorced and very, very physical with their kids. I mean, like in a mean way. and now they're grown up, and they abuse her so much. I mean, they're not hitting her. I mean, she's still, gets around on her own and stuff, right? She's independent, but at the same time, like 3 of her, she had 1 son and 2 daughters, and they all treat her, they're always asking for money, and they threaten her, like, you can't see the kids. She has these grandchildren, and it's like, well, if you don't give me this, you don't see the grandkids. And she loves her grandkids, and she really wants to spend a lot of time with them, because she's like she's a single lady, right? So she doesn't have a partner or anybody to go out with, so she wants to be a part of her grandchildren's life. At the same time, the only way she can be a part of her life is by, doing things for her children, like, she's always babysitting them and doesn't get any money for it, or helping them out financially, lending them money to get their car fixed, whatever. So she had to like remortgage her house or chip mortgage, I don't know, something anyway, because even though she had a good career in a hospital for a long time, now she's in, she spends so much money on her kids that she can hardly pay her own bills. But you think, like, they promise to pay her back, but they never do. So I think, and this is the abuse she gets, because she abused them when they were growing up. So they don't respect her. They're just using her for whatever they can get. And that's pretty sad. That is really, really sad. So anyway, I guess that's about all I have to say about anger. Maybe I'll go back to the my previous rant about family dynamics. I'll share my personal history, because maybe a lot of you can relate to it, because no family's perfect. You can say you are, but everybody has issues. So I grew up in a bungalow, like in a small bungalow, brand new bungalow that my parents bought when I was born. And I have an older sister, 2.5 years older, and then there's a brother who's 5 years younger, and a sister who's 7 years younger, and then my youngest brother came when I was 13. And there was always fights in our house. If it wasn't, and I mean, they were trivial. And so, if I wasn't fighting with my sister would be fighting with my brother would be fighting with my other brother, my mom and dad would be fighting. There was never any peace and harmony in our house. Somebody was always getting upset. So, and now we're all grown up, and our relationships have been torn apart. Like, my mom is still alive, but she doesn't have dementia. She's just my sister, and my sister's a power of attorney, the executor, which means that nobody in the family, she gets to buy whatever she wants. She owns 3 houses, my sister, and she doesn't give anybody anything. It's just crazy, and I don't get, like, why do other people always want more? They're just never happy, never ever happy. Even like politicians, I don't know, even millionaires, like, they want more and more and more. Like, how much money can you spend? How much money do you need? It's just greed and selfishness. And so, anyway, my older sister is the one who has raised 3 children. She's married to an immigrant from Egypt. She had 2 children. Then she got divorced. Then she had another daughter, but never remarried. And that turned out to be a bad scenario. Really bad scenario. Just mistreating her kids and hurting her kids and yelling at her kids, and it was, and those are the ones that now are just taking advantage of her. I guess she gives them so much stuff out of guilt because she knows that she mistreated them when they were growing up. So that's the oldest sister. My next one, my brother, he never got married. Well, he's kind of slightly autistic, so he never got married. But he lived with my mom until she got really feeble. He helped my mom out, took her everywhere she wanted to go, and was her companion. They took trips together and all this sort of thing. Anyway, that was him. And then my younger sister, she's the one who's in charge of, you know, really, really benefited greatly. She was with my mom like rent-free for 13 years, or I don't know, 15, maybe, I don't know how many years, but whatever it was, she never paid rent. So my mom said because she helped her out, like, so she painted her living room a couple of times and did a few, you know, helped her navigate her finances and her, you know, her bank account and that sort of thing, right? Like her financial advisor, basically. And so, so she married a man from Cuba, and she's divorced, and her daughter does. She bought a huge, great big house, which she lives in by herself now. Well, except for my mom lives there too. And then my younger brother, he was married to a Japanese girl, and they had a daughter, and then they got divorced when she was young. He never saw them again. So, but now, sadly, my brother had mental health issues, like, I don't know if it was drugs or what it was, but my mom did help him buy a house. And then, anyway, he was growing marijuana in his backyard, so he would set up a tent in his backyard and sleep in this tent. And I mean, he made the tent, it was like amazing because he had the electricity in there. He had, you know, his music equipment back there, and a dresser and a proper bed. It wasn't like a, you know, like a camping tent. It was, anyway, he had a really nice setup, but I guess he slept in his backyard to protect his pot plants. Anyway, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, they found him dead in his tent in the backyard. Nobody knew he was missing for, like, they thought he'd gone out with a friend or off camping or something, or traveling. So he died. They found him dead in his backyard. And he died in his sleep. I guess he had a heart attack. So that's one less sibling I have. We never really talked that much because we just didn't have anything in common. You know, he had some crazy ideas. And my mom also gave him a lot of money, helped him buy a house, bought him a Harley Davidson motorcycle. He took a course for driving those great big 16-wheel trucks. He drove one briefly, and then he quit. So he would get jobs and then he would quit because he didn't like the boss, or he didn't like the way they treated him, or the work, or the hours. He always had some complaints, so he never worked a steady job. So, yeah, family dynamics are really hard to navigate, sadly, because my mom has been with my sister for the last 2 years. I haven't seen my mom because my sister's kind of holding her hostage. My sister she's really, really mean. She's so mean. She was a liaison officer for foreign students that came from Africa. She would have them come over here. She'd find housing for them, do their visas, all the paperwork for school, high school, college, or university. She'd be in touch with their parents on a regular basis. She'd find them housing and passports and all this sort of things. That was how she earned her living. Well, she used to work for Columbia College, but then she quit that and started doing it herself. So I guess she made a pretty good living with that. So she bought this huge house up in Simcoe, and we didn't talk for 20 years. I don't know, I'm not even, she claims it was because I called her one day when I had this brain bleed, and she just had a daughter, and she claims the reason that she was upset is because I didn't ask about her daughter. I'm calling her to make amends because she would stop talking to me before that. Anyway, so that's how that goes. And, yeah, so I haven't seen my mom. Well, I will share a personal story with you. And the reason being that we'd gone, my sister, my mom, my husband, and I've been married I got married in 1991. I've been married for over 30 years. So my mom's been divorced twice. So everybody's divorced in my family except for me. So anyway, we went on this road trip to the East Coast to visit some friends and relatives. So it was broad daylight. We were driving on this highway. It wasn't too busy, but it was a real highway. And anyway, I had to empty my bladder. And she's going, no, wait. Well, I was in a lot of pain. So and says, just stop right here. I want to go. I don't care if it's daylight. Stop right here. So she was driving this big van that she'd rented for the trip. So I got out and pulled down my pants, started to do my thing, and next thing you know, she's driving down the road. Well, I was flabbergasted. I was shocked. I was upset. I tried to pull up my pants quickly. You know, it was still daylight out, right? And anyway, so I'm on the gravel side of the road, and then there's this hill. Like, there's about 2 or 3 feet of gravel on the side of the road, which I was standing in, and then like a hill down. I don't know how deep, how there was no rocks or anything, but there was a lot of tall, dead grass here. So what happened is I stumbled, and I started running down this hill and land on my face. I lost my glasses, and then I look up, and there's my sister recording me with her phone. Like, she just thought this was a big joke. I mean, I was bruises all up and down my knees, and like I said, I lost my glasses. Excuse me. Oh gosh. Anyway, I never got my glasses back, and she thought it was a joke. I was so angry. And then we looked for my glasses for a while, couldn't find them, so we ended up leaving without my glasses, which I just had for a few weeks, right? Which cost, I don't know, something like $350 or something. And then her answer was, well, you didn't like them anyway. Just get a new pair. Didn't offer to pay, wouldn't pay, right? So I just stopped talking to her, and then I guess she tried to patch things up, like just talking to me like nothing happened, like no apology, which really burned me. Like, there was no apology. It's just like, okay, let's, go and have more fun, right? And I think she should have offered to pay for my glasses, and she didn't apologize. Well, with that not, with forthcoming, I just stopped talking to her. So we ended the holiday early, and listen, could I continue this later? Because it says the recording's going to stop. I don't know why this machine always runs out of juice. So stay tuned, and I will stay tuned for part 2 of my family dynamics. And remember, be kind and treat others well.